Hey, happy friends. Are we live? I can't see the chat. Just trying restream. Don't know how this is going to work. Never done this before. Uh, so we've got the mini from Brian at Weird World War II. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. There we go. So we're going to epoxy together right now. Don't know why you can't see the chat. Anyway, so if you're here, sorry you can't see you. Hope that you're enjoying. So this is a 3D print. Um, it doesn't quite fit perfectly, but I've got it. I've got some pins in it. I did break one drill bit, and I said in the previous video that I was sure to. I ordered a whole new box of PCB bits from China, from the Bay of Ease. Probably be here in a week, but in the meantime, I've got plenty of other drill bits. It's just a little bit wonk. Not worth it to spend a lot of time. I'm gonna mix up some two-part epoxy right now, and get on it. And then when I get done with the epoxy, we'll fill in the gaps with the some Gorilla Putt. 50% green stuff, 50% Milliput. Right now, I'm just gonna mix up a little bit of quick epoxy here. Try to get it equal 50-50. This stuff is awesome, by the way. The only problem I ever had with this is that actually the last one, the hardener actually set up because they didn't use it for months and months and months. This stuff really does need to be used. If you don't use it, then it's going to go away. So this is my first time with Restream. I previously used StreamYard and was always pretty happy with StreamYard, but I guess all the cool kids are using Restream. The other problem I'm having with Restream is that I can't find the chat. But it'll work out. So this is my first time using it. Um, I don't expect things to be perfect. So I just mixed up my first batch of, and I'm using one of these handles, one of these cheap Walmart brushes, these craft brushes. I do buy these sometimes for gluing if you're a modeler. So I want a pretty good amount. I don't want it squishing out the sides because it feels to be a nightmare to sand later. But yeah, I'm gonna have to mix up a little bit more, and I also don't want to waste it. I'd rather mix 2 or 3 batches. It's gonna give me a little bit of time to set up, so I figure it's like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'll probably put a little bit on each of the 2 sides, and it'll set up in about 5 minutes. Um, Sufficient enough that it's not a metal mini, so I figured as long as I don't drop it off the table, it'll be fine. Let's mix up a little bit more. Dollop of that. Like I said, this stuff is pretty good. I usually get it from Amazon. Of course, if you're one of your local hardware store carries it, I usually recommend buying local first. So I'm testing out some new equipment. Um, got a new light stand here, and I've also got some Shocks headphones that I've been using at work, so I can listen to podcasts and stuff while I write my reports. And the microphone in them is actually pretty good. If you have any problems with the video or the audio, let me know in the comments. So I said I want to make sure I get a little bit of the epoxy down in the holes because that's where I really want it to grip, right? And on the wires. So I have had no time for hobbying in the last 10 months now, it seems like. But Brian from Weird World War II, again, I do recommend that you subscribe to his channel. He's got a lot of good stuff. He is a 3D printing monster. He's just a fiend. And I talked to him on the phone, and I was feeling kind of bummed and kind of not being able to do any hobbying, and he said he would send this to me, And he said he would send me something sufficiently weird. And it fits the bill. I'm probably going to mix up one more little batch of epoxy and just fill in that back a little bit because it'll bond. I'm hoping it'll bond better than the than green stuff will. So let's see if I've got any of this left. Use the brush. So these brushes are meant to be. These are like the brushes that kindergartners in public school use for their art classes. Just gonna tuck as much of that in there as I can. Try to get a good bite. And then I can always sand a little bit. It's going to take a bit to set up. And once it sets, then I'll fill in the remaining gap with Milliput and green stuff combo. And then I will fill in if there's anything left, sand and smooth with some Tamiya putty. I haven't really worked with resin a lot. The last big models I did this size were metal. And this one's actually a little bit bigger. It's got some good texture. I'm pretty sure he'll paint up well. Let's see. I just want to make sure that I can set it down without it just falling apart and there's a little gap right there. This guy, I mean, he's not perfect. He was a little bit proud. I probably should have done a little more prep time getting the fit and finish right, but I hadn't done any painting in so long. I just wanted to get started. Plus Halloween is next week. I do have most of that week off. It just luck of the draw. Nurses usually work 3 shifts in a week, and at my job, Saturday can count for this week or it can count for next week, as opposed to Sunday being the first day of the week. So I'm working Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then I've got the rest of the week off. And Halloween at the Paints Minis house is usually, it's really my real favorite holiday of the year. I told my boss at work if I only had 2 days off, the only 2 days I really care to have off would be Halloween and Christmas Eve. I could literally work, every other holiday and not care too much. 4th of July is okay to have off every once in a while for the fireworks and the kids. And here in this neighborhood, the 24th of July is almost as big as the 4th of July. If you know, you know. It's a Utah thing. So I think that's going to set. It's going to have a pretty big gap in it, though. So I'm going to let that set for a minute. And then when after that sets, I'll add a bit more, and then add a bit more, and then add a bit more. So restream. Using it with my phone is weird because I don't know how to make the chat work. And it says it's streaming. I also don't know why it's vertical instead of horizontal. I've got to fix that too. But I literally just signed up for it right now. And all right. So I've been getting into Cthulhu a lot more lately. I've been trying to collect as many of the 5th edition books from the 1990s as I can get my hands on. Most of them are pretty inexpensive. The Dreamlands ones are really pricey on the secondary market. And if you listen to my old friend Shadow, he'll tell you that it's the time to not buy books. The time to buy books was after Valentine's Day. And I still have got my notifications set on eBay, and I still get those notifications. And sometimes the books come along at a price that I can't resist, and I still snatch them up, especially 3rd edition GURPS books. I've got most of the ones I want, but every once in a while I'll come across that I haven't seen or didn't know about or tickles my fancy, and I'll snatch it up. Most of those are really inexpensive. Some of the Traveler ones are high, especially the floor plans for the ships, but I guess because they could be used for a lot of other games too, not just GURPS. Um, some of the supplements are expensive, but most of the ones you can still get on a PDF for cheap or even free if you're willing to go there. And sometimes we go there and sometimes we pay for them. It just all depends. There you go. So this is a really interesting guy, and I really can't wait to get some paint on him. But hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to prime and paint. If I fill in this other gap, the thing I'm just worried about is that I don't want it to fall while I'm. Hopefully the pins will hold it absolutely straight. Let's get another look at him. Whoop. So again, I don't know why it's vertical. Hey, it says I've got four viewers. Guys, if I could get the chat going, I would. I don't know how to do it in the restream. So, if there wants to talk anything, say anything, now's a great time to do it. Leave any comments about how to change the camera. I assure you that my phone is indeed, this way and not this way. I'm sure there's a setting that I'm missing. But the ring light is actually doing a pretty good job, which I can move it a little bit left, a little bit right. Whoop. There you go. Get a good look at this guy. He's not quite body horror. I mean, he's obviously, I could make it body horror. I could paint him up in human flesh tones. That'd be freaky. Dark wash. Now I'm down to 2 viewers. That's fine. I don't expect anybody to hang out when I don't really know what's going on. I like StreamYard better, but evidently StreamYard's charging folks for pretty much everything, so everyone's switched to Restream. I know that Eric Tenkar and Shadow and probably a whole bunch of other people have made that jump. And if I become Joe the YouTuber, then I'll have to pay for a plan so I can get more folks on and do it too. But in the meantime, so plans for this guy. The bottom is not. It's a little bit proud there at the bottom. I'm just wiggling it with my finger. It's not. Whoop, whoop, it's not flat. I might put it on my disc sander for a few seconds. Of course, if you do that, make sure you wear an N95 because that dust is super toxic. And so let's rotate him around a little bit. Yeah, he's still going to obviously need that gap filled. And then hopefully the way those lines are, it's going to. And I've got to mirror the camera for, it's obviously not mirrored because, this is Loctite epoxy, not, whatever that is backwards. More things to figure out. So that's really where I'm going right now. I've got to get this dry, and hopefully this sometime between now and the first of the year get a new camera. My goal is to get something a little more high def. I was looking at getting a microphone, but I think these earbuds are going to work pretty well. I'm really liking the way that guy's drying. So that's my Halloween. I also got this guy for Halloween from eBay. Let's see. This is Age of Sigmar, Lord of Plagues, Maggot, Kin of Nurgle. These are about $20. That's like super high. But Games Workshop is Games Workshop. watched a video by Uncle Adam talking about how I had like 6 of these, and then I watched that video by one of the guys that should have won the Golden Demon but didn't win the Golden Demon, and I think he had one of these in his most excellent diorama. And if you follow, there's always a bunch of there's always drama. So. $20 for one sprue. Can you believe that? I wouldn't mind paying 7 or 8, but let's see. I could probably put them together right here on the stream. It's got a big country base. Got this from Flipside Gaming on eBay. Again, not sponsored. Everything that I review, I promise. I don't think I want to use that square base though. Let's see. I'll bet he's got almost no mold lines. Let's see. I'll just put them together while I'm waiting. I wish they weren't monopose. GW. Get off your ass and make your kids like you used to. It makes them very hard to kit bash. And I'm kind of a kit bashing fiend. I want everything. Let's see. So I'm working the late shift tonight. The short shift, midnight to 8:30, or midnight to 8. Pardon me. Which is just okay. Yeah, he's got almost. I mean, that's not a mold line. That's his armor. He's got a sprue gate right there in the shoulder. I got to clean up. See. I don't play 40K, but if I did, I really like the Imperial Guard, but for the minis, man, I'm really liking the Death Guard. Maybe that's from the videos that JD Ends of Battle have been throwing up about painting his Death Guard. I think that if I started, I would probably want to start with the new Kill Team starter set, and then split it with somebody, and take the Death Guard heroes, and let somebody else have the Ultra Smurfs, the Adeptus Retardis. Let's see, did it have a picture on it? I probably already threw it away. So I cut it up with my scissors to get it off the, let me see. So it looks like you could do the square base, or you can just do the round base. I guess the square base was for, what are those things called? Warhammer Fantasy Battles. At least he's not standing on a tactical rock, right? Let me check this guy right now real quick. Oh yeah, that's set. I don't want to put any more on right now because I want to give it glue good time to set. Let's see. I don't really go much for body horror though, you know? Body horror is not really it doesn't jam my jams, it doesn't flame my flams. But zombies now. Everybody loves zombies. He does have one skull. At least it's just a skull and not actual flesh. Really like the Sisters of Battle, except I don't like the torture, the torture porn aspects of it. You know, it's like, hey, let's take nuns with guns and combine it with Saw or Hostel, you know. That's not my thing. That's not my thing at all. So what I could do, I guess I could get my laptop in here for next stream, and then I could watch the stream on the laptop. All right. For all you mini guys, especially plastic, remember you measure twice, measure before you glue. So let's dry fit him. It's got two little sprue gates right there. Those will come right off. So it's been a hard little bit for gamers. You know, we lost some members of the YouTube community, and it is no secret at all that that guy who we lost last month, he hated my guts some fierce, and that's fine. Mostly because I told him to stop making responses to my videos, and that's fine. But I was talking about RPGs, and that this I got a point. Trust me. If we don't teach kids how to play RPGs, and especially real RPGs, time's going to come when there aren't any RPGs. And I was thinking about my own Friday night group, and there's nobody in my group under 40. I'm not 100% sure if there's anybody in my group under 45. So if you play games, especially games that aren't D&D, older games, Champions, GURPS, Call of Cthulhu, that's not 7th edition, I think you kind of have an obligation really to find your own replacement. You know? Find someone who is not your age. Find someone who's younger than you, especially if you're a Gen Xer or a younger boomer, and teach them. So I'm just going to need a little bit more glue in there to make that line disappear. And then I've got that sprue gate right there on the shoulder pad that I missed, but that's going to come right off. I think that this blade is sharp. Always remember, kids, make sure you use sharp blades because you're less likely to cut yourself. For this work, I usually prefer a scalpel to a, you know what? I usually prefer a scalpel to an X-Acto knife, but so this is going to be my other. I got this guy specifically to be my other Halloween entry. I've noticed a lot of guys. British Legion already had his video up. Probably a bunch of other guys do too. Unfortunately, I've been having some issues. I had a kidney scare earlier in the month. Some abnormal labs, and the doctors weren't sure, so referred me to a nephrologist. And the nephrologist said probably everything's okay. But I've got my regular doctor, my GP. He is, boy, everything's an emergency. All right. That's pretty good. That armpit's going to go away. And that is probably going to be hidden too. But I kind of miss the tuba views. I've made some good friends here over the years. Most of the guys on my Friday night game I met on social media, either Facebook or YouTube. So as much of a cesspool as social media have become, there are some good things. All right. Let's see. I don't want to base him yet. I'll get his arm on first, I think. I like this. So he's got to get that off right there. If I just scrape it down a little bit, I can go over it with some 1000 grit sandpaper soon. Yeah, I don't think this guy's got 40K rules. He probably just has Sigma rules. For all the poo-pooing I've done for Games Workshop over the years, I do like their lore mostly. So if you like this setup, leave me a comment, and I'll keep doing it. You know, I said, but maybe a better camera and a little more intelligent setup. But at least the way I've got it set up right now, I can paint and talk at the same time and have everything on camera. Now, if I just got an AI voice, we would have both of the two problems fixed. Right? That face for radio and voice for print. All right. Almost 9. Yeah, not bad. And then I can go back and get all the lines off. And I promise to fix the chat problem ASAP, because this is not the Bob Ross show. I prefer to be a little more interactive. But I'm probably not going to be Joe the Streamer. I prefer to do more finished videos. I'm just not any good at editing. I think there's a learning curve for most of this that most people either skip because they know somebody or because they pay money to get more invested in it. This is, I mean, I would be doing this anyway, so may as well let you all watch too. Oops. Make sure you get the arm on the right way. There we go. So is he wearing sleeves, or is that his arm? I think that's his arm, so I'm going to have to smooth that line out. But it looks like I won't need to use any putty on that at least. I could probably just use the glue brush to smooth that out. And then when I get that gap filled, I will, I'll pry them all at the same time. I hadn't airbrushed for like, 7, 8, 9 months, and my airbrush, I left some paint in it, and it was locked up tighter than Uncle Scrooge's coin purse. I put it in my ultrasonic cleaner for about 20 minutes. I took the bottom part with the rubber gasket off and for the air, and took it apart as much as I could before it was all seized up, and gave it a good about 20 minutes soak at about 100 degrees in a mix of about 50% LA's Totally Awesome and water. I could have thinned it down more than that, but hey, why not overkill, right? And then see, there's a little sprue gate right there. I'll get that off with some sandpaper. And then I'll base it with my typical. Should I use cork? He's pretty tall already. So I've got a thin cork laying around. I don't know if I have any thin cork or not. Guess not. My hobby stuff is scattered from hell to breakfast. I'm still recovering from the disaster that I had in here. I had some shelves on the back wall that were overloaded, cupboard actually that was overloaded, and it pulled right out of the wall and exploded. And when it exploded, it just scattered stuff all over this room. So, but I've got some heavy duty shelving, some industrial racking. I'm going to put back in here against this wall and move all my game stuff downstairs. Clear up some shelf space. All my game books. I kind of grew up gaming, from like junior high on or middle school on. About 88 or so, maybe when I was like 13, and got out of it for years because it was sort of a dark age. Didn't have any money. And if you don't have any money, you can't really buy game stuff. So at least that was the way I saw it. And then kind of got back into it a few years ago, and I went from 0 game books to, I think, 2 shelves of game books. I almost lost his head. All right. I'm going to finish gluing this guy together, and I'm just going to base him. So he's got a mask. I am Lord Humongous. So if you're doing anything for Halloween, let me know in the comments. I am going to be firing up the fire pit, and put it in the front yard with some sound, with the sound system, play some Halloween music, and I'm going to do s'mores and hot dogs for the trick-or-treaters. Because it's pretty much just our neighborhood, and since it's just our neighborhood, run! This guy is sufficiently disgusting. I love how his axe is sort of buried in his guts. The question is, do I paint him greenish or pinkish? I'm thinking like a sufficiently rotten green with some pink dry brushing, highlighting, glaze it, maybe do a Zenithal. I don't have any green ink. I do have green ink. I don't have any sufficiently putrid green ink. Put some green ink in the airbrush, and go from there. So I promise to get the chat fixed. That's going to be my goal for tomorrow. Get another layer of Gorilla stuff, or some Gorilla Putt, green stuff in that crack, and get this guy and that guy primed. One trick I learned from the Hot Wheels guys: if you prime before when you prime, that's when you check for sprue gates and mold lines that you missed, because priming will really accentuate all that stuff. If you're using a metal mini, that's when you find the little metal tabs, the metal sprue gates. Okay, so let's put a tiny bit of glue on that and see if we can't get that knocked down a little bit more. And if it ends up looking like another, heck, I'll just hit it with my hobby drill and hit it with a pin vise and just make it look like another pock mark. But I think that's good. That's coming down right there. wish you knew where my cork was. I see kitty litter and I see sand, but I don't see cork. I've got some thin cork, like coasters, like I used for this connoisseur, or for this wizard. I could do that. And there's one more sprue gate right there on his elbow. Let's get that off. One thing you got to do is you got to make sure there's no glue on your fingers, or else you'll put fingerprints in your mini, and those don't come out. And you don't want to spend $20 on a piece of plastic or more. I mean, if you're doing characters, for crying out loud, you got your $50 Helbrecht or whoever, and you put fingerprints in it. Put a little bit of glue on that shoulder too, on the elbow, pardon me. I love his mark of Nurgle right there, that fly. It's sufficiently gross. I'm looking forward to that. I said that Kill Team. I think that Kill Team starter set's gonna be super popular, and not just because it's got the reboxed heroes that we're going for like massive scalpers, buku scalpers dollars on eBay. And they're gonna be, instead of scalpers prices, they're gonna be starter set prices in a few months. That's good. Because this is going to be the starter set. I don't think it's going to sell out overnight. It should last for at least the rest of this season. And they are all monopose models, which is, that's bad. But they're all heroes, so you're only going to have one set of them. Put a little bit of, I think I've got some 1000 grit sandpaper. A little wet dry. A little wet dry right there. And then we'll base him. I don't know if I need to put him on cork tower since he's tall anyway. I don't know. Let's see, it's right back. Oh, hey, look, there's a piece of cork. All right, now I see some super glue. Super glue, where are you? We got some work for you now. You're not fooling me, I can't see. My hobby desk is a disgusting mess. Oh, there's. All right. We're going to use a little Loctite extreme glue. Oof. My phone is dying. All right, well, we might have to cut this short because, yeah, batteries. But let's get this on, and then I'll let you go. I appreciate everybody coming by, watching the stream. And I'll catch you on the flip. I bid you peace.